We work in the districts of Garbatula, Merti, and the Oldonyiro ward of Isiolo district. The main theme of our work is resource governance. In 2009, the leadership in Garbatula came to us and asked us to formulate an institution that will address issues of resource governance so that resources around here can improve livelihoods. When resources are governed better, they will have direct impact on livelihood for this generation and for the generation to come. We are working on climate change because climate has direct impact on building people's resilience through many pathways.
The program started when I was in Sericho, SDO, and then I got an invitation through RAP to join them in the problem and identification process. I was involved in that process. I was invited. I will be in the process until this far because, you know, mostly government officers come and go. But I've been involved from the beginning.
Rules and regulations that govern natural resource. This has been embedded in our customer institution, which has elaborate rules, regulations, norms, and practices that determine, that adjudicate, that give access and control over resources like pasture and water. The Boran community use the system called EDA. EDA is the largest recognizable geographical unit used by the Boran for the purpose of resource management. And it has many officers under it, water officers, Abaerega, and other several managers. What we have done as an organization is to document all this body of rules and regulation with the help of lawyers who codified it into legal language, so to say, to legal speak. And so that with the advent of a new constitution, it gives us an opportunity to table before our county assembly a resource bill, a natural resource governance bill that takes into account our customary laws, so that our customary rules and regulation will have the backing of the judicial criminal system of the country.
The bylaws, because what the Constitution, the current Constitution is giving us currently, it is that the local people have the power over their resources. That is the provision of the Constitution, that people have the mandate and have the powers to manage their own resources, and that the resources they have first are supposed to benefit the locals. And in that realization, it is then important that these people who are here, the pastoralists here, make all the efforts to ensure that the resources they have are well utilized and to the benefit of the locals. And that calls for the laws, the bylaws. The people here need to come up with bylaws that are very specific to them, because conflicts here are very common. And conflicts here are not on issues to do with plots. People here don't have title deeds. People here have this land. So conflicts here are on grazing. And if you realize that your problem is on grazing, is on pasture, is on water, then as a community they decide to come up with bylaws. A whole community cannot sit on itself to bring the bylaws. But through RAP, it acted as an avenue for these people to come together. It brought the people together. It's like inciting them that these are your resources. Come on, wake up. You know, manage this. The only way to manage is to come up with the bylaws.
One of the biggest problems is dearth of information, lack of information. So we are doing elaborate resource mapping. We are working with other partners, Geodata Institute of University of Southampton, to map out resources in a participatory manner so that knowledges which are resting in the minds of people, traditional people, are transferred into maps, digital maps. And that will help in planning. Not only the communities, but also county governments, other planning people, other stakeholders, and so on and so forth. We also facilitate and help in climate information services, where we provide climate information and forecasting and what the weather will look like Sometimes these are wrong, sometimes they get it right. But we have put up a community radio in Garbatula because pastoralists are all a community who are mobile. The history is that pastoralists were least understood people. Although a lot has been written about them, they have been least understood. It's not just outsiders who don't understand pastoralists. Even pastoralists who have gone through the school system, their mind frame, their culture, all this is changed. People view mobility as a problem, while we know mobility is a strategy of survival. It's a strategy of exploiting sparse resources which are spread over huge geographical area and spread over time. So if you are not mobile and you are left behind, you are actually consigned to death. So in development, one big job we are having is to make people understand pastoralism as contributor to the economy of this country, as people who are custodian of very beautiful landscape, people who are custodian of wildlife, fauna and flora, for this generation and future generation. We are not romanticizing pastoralism. We really don't say that nothing should be done other than pastoralism. We're just saying we must be capable of withstanding shocks of nature. We must be capable of withstanding when nature works against us, when drought comes, it's around the corner. We should not allow it to develop into emergency. It's a normal phenomena. Rain, no rain. That has been there for times. And it's only weak people who blame those weather patterns for their weakness.
We may have some challenges that may come up in implementing some of these things that are in place. One, there is what we call the political goodwill. If, for example, a political system comes in and feels that this is not important, or even the committee that is there is not, because you realize here there is a lot of clanism in these pastoral communities, actually all of them. So is the committee strong enough to sustain a political blow? That is one of the challenges I feel may be a big one in handling these matters. Of course, the other thing is about the sustainability. What happens when RAP moves out? What if the county government does not buy the idea because it's a political system? What would happen?
One big thing we have received is that in the drought of 2010, not one single livestock in this region died because the drought reserves were working in Yamicha, Urura, the deep boreholes across in Marti, which were preserved for drought. When immediately the community decided it was drought, livestock was moved up there, and we had our pasture, and we had our water. So not only our livestock, we saved livestock from Wajir, from Marsabit, and from Moyale. None died. And even now, drought has not hit. Our drought reserves are intact. We are policing them. That is one. Our communities are rejuvenated. We have very many active organizations who are now making sure that the rules and the norms and the regulations are enforced. Third, we are able to speak to authority with confidence. Authority like national government, like county government, the DO and everybody. Like when the county integrated plans came here, people prepared themselves and engaged in county plans on what they wanted. For the first time, I've also seen the impacts of people refusing to accept what they perceive to be negative development. They have refused to be dumping ground for development ideas and development donors or anybody rushing with money wanting to do things. I've seen consultants coming from CEDA, for example, who are ready to come and put up a huge dam of so many thousands of liters of water, and this community telling them, no, 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 no. I've seen them saying we don't want receding because it doesn't help us. We've seen them forming organizations now which are vibrant, taking care of their water, taking care of their valleys, taking care of their pasture, and emergence of institutions which can organize the community and talk to people.